This is the confessions narrative that everybody wants to know, because most do know when you call a chat line. You're looking for more than just your average conversation. You're looking for a conversation that can get deep into your mind and get you to a climax or orgasm that you've never had before. And yes, sadly to say, I was part of that group that would sit back and just listen at those sometimes people who talk like that. I didn't know how to do it. I really didn't. And when they would ask me to do it, I would be like, I can't do it, because I didn't tell them that I didn't know how to do it, but I didn't know how to do that part. I knew how to be evil. That was my thing. I knew how to be mean. I knew how to get you told if that's what you needed, but I didn't know how to keep your attention in some of those hot, raunchy conversations. I didn't know how to do that. So I met a girl, well, a woman, y'all. I don't know why I just say girls. I guess it just reminds me of call girls, something like that. But I met this woman, and she told me, she said, you do know that you don't really have to do any of that stuff. And I said, well, I wasn't going to do it no way, but I keep getting asked about it. And so she gave me some tips on what to do when these guys would want somebody to sound like, they was in one of those moments of heat. And one thing she said, always keep you some water by, whether it's bottled water, water in a cup, or it could be water in a jug, because as long as you got this water by you, you can sound like you are doing anything. And I was like, what? She's teaching me. I didn't know that I could sound like I was doing anything. Well, yeah, it was true. I could sound like I was doing anything. One of the things she said do when the guys, because they was bad about asking, can you play with yourself for me? And of course, I knew what they were meaning, but I didn't always know what to say back to them. So sometimes I would hang up on them, and that would be it. And then other times, once I learned what the lady said to do, then sometimes I would do that. And again, I will keep reminding y'all that at this point, I was not in the church. I was not saved. But I think this is a great example of how temptation is out there, and we can be so desperate to be loved or to be heard, to be seen, that we will fall for anything. And that was an anything fall moment for me. That was a season of my life where I thought I was in control, but Satan had deceived me into believing that I was in control, because I was not in control. These guys were leading me on, and here I was. I thought I was the evil one, but I was the blind one. I was the blind one because I didn't realize how far out I was taking myself. And you can take yourself so far out of reality till even pretending to have phone sex can become your obsession. And it got to a point where it was taking over too much of my life, my time, and I wasn't getting anything out of it. And that was my biggest problem. I couldn't get anything out of that. And I couldn't understand why guys would get anything out of it, but those guys would act like they was on top of a mountain, like that was the best news to their ears. And I just asked the guy one night, I said, so how many women do you do like this? And he said, everyone. Everyone, so nobody's really special. So don't ever think you're special just because you're on the chat line and it feels like you're the only one in their life. Even some of these married couples, I do question that as well, because I know people who can be in relationships and still look for that thrill that comes along with meeting somebody on the chat line. It's not just a phone call. It's a thrill. It's an excitement. It's an adrenaline rush. It's the one time where even if you're tired, you could just get up and get that phone call. And it can put you back straight. It can wake you up where other people can't wake you up that are beside you, But if you get this phone call from someone or a text from someone that's from the chat line, you're up as if you've been knowing that person all your life. I had to be real with myself. That type of chat lining wasn't for me. I could not do adult conversations. I don't know. It was just something in me. I did try it for a while, and it didn't work for me. I tried even the tricks that I was told to do. Use the water bottles to help yourself sound like you're having an orgasm. Pour like a jug of water to make it sound like you are in the midst of a big hot bubble bath. And I didn't get it. I couldn't get into that like that. It just wasn't me. Some people are cut out for it and some aren't. Now, if you want to talk about business, I could talk about business. I wasn't talking about the Bible back then because I just wasn't into God. I didn't have a full relationship with God at that time. I didn't even have a prayer life, so I wasn't talking about Him. But I could talk about anything outside of sex. Now, another form of communication on the live chat line is once you get the numbers and you exchange numbers, then you don't only call and talk to one another, but you also can text one another. Now, I was good at sexting, but I wasn't good at texting. If I wanted to text you, I would answer you back, but if I didn't want to, I wouldn't answer you back. If I felt like I wanted to play that role, if I wanted to dig into your mind and I knew that's how I could do it, I would start off a conversation a little nasty and then I pull it back. Yeah, as soon as they start flirting back, I'd be like, why you talk to me like that? Don't you respect me as a woman? At that time, I wasn't even respecting myself as a woman. And then the guy would feel bad because they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take it the wrong way. And I knew exactly what I was saying, but I wanted to confuse them so they wouldn't know how to act around me. They wouldn't know how to take me. And that's what a lot of guys would tell me. I don't know how to take you. And then some would be like, you childish. You know that? You are so childish. And I'd be like, why you say that? And they said because I had these games that they couldn't figure out. So they was like, I don't have to play these type of riddles. I could just go get somebody who don't want to play these type of games, who will give me what I want, tell me what I want to hear. It still don't. Let me tell you, the chat line still lives. I don't care how many people leave you. The chat line is still alive. 1 or 2 gone and you'll pick up 5 or 6 more. It's that simple. Like, you can sit there and never speak to someone again and not have to worry about it because the next few chimes ends, that's your fix right there. Because you don't get addicted to talking to the same person. The high is in how many different people can you talk to at any given time without getting them confused, without getting boring, without being where it's like, it's not boring, but where it's not sexy, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody to boost your ego, to fill the void that's in your soul, your heart, and you will go through as many people as you need to until you feel satisfied. And some nights for me, I would have to go through talking to about 10 guys, and then I'd be like, okay, this is enough. I'm going to bed now. Until I got the right one that would hit my buttons. And then I would stop. But the forms of communication varies depending on who you are, how much experience you have, and what you like. Because whatever you like, it's out there. It's out there, but you have to go through a lot of people sometimes to find what it is you like. But they're out there. I wouldn't recommend doing that. By the way, I'm going to say this, and you can take it for what it's worth. I would not recommend putting your heart out there and sexting and doing all this phone sex talk, because why tease yourself, first of all? Second of all, when you open yourself up like this allows any enemy to come in and destroy you emotionally. Because whether you know it or not, still the voice of someone in your ear making these noises, making these sounds, can cause you to have a connection that's hard to break. You can have a bond. I don't know, any of you've heard of a Jezebel spirit, it can cause that. People can control you by the sound of a voice. You can be brainwashed by the sound of a voice. It's like I used to have this one guy, and I go, like that. And he knows how I say it. And when I say it in a certain way, he knows what that means. It means he done messed up. And so he would fix his face and get back right, because he knew I was upset with him. So sounds, noises, words, phrases, we take all of this in. Our subconscious mind takes it in. And when we see it again, we know it. We know it. So if you fall asleep, say, with someone on the phone, and that person is talking you, giving you pillow talk to put you to sleep, as soon as you go to sleep, you don't know what they're saying. When you fall asleep and you take this and you lose your consciousness, you can be programmed subconsciously by these guys off the chat line, or women, whoever it is in your ear, can program you. While you're sleeping and snoring in their ear, they can be telling you over and over, you're ugly. You're not pretty. You're going to give me all of your money. Go to the bank. And they'll call you out by your name. Say, for instance, they may say, Jamie, go get the money out of the bank. And they'll keep talking these words and chants into your ear while you are sleeping. And when you wake up, all of a sudden, when you talk to them, maybe not now, but when you talk to them a week from now, you'll be like, I just want to give you this gift. You've been so good to me. Even though the guy could be mean to you, but you'll be like, you've been so nice to me. Or a man the same way. I want to pay your phone bill. I want to make your car payment. What can I do for you, baby? It's a form of voodoo, if we must put it out there like that. It's a form of witchcraft that was practiced back in the old days, and it's still practiced to this day. And if you find yourself caught sleeping, calling yourself falling asleep with these guys or women on the chat line, you are definitely setting yourself up for some heartache, because these guys and women, they're out for two things when they're on this chat line, and a possible third thing. The first thing they're out for is money. They will get their money out of you one way or the other. They know how to coerce you into going and getting them that money. The second thing is sex. That's all they want, is a nut. I said it in grown folks terms. That's what they want. They want to get off. You got to think, these are sex addicts that are on this line. And since you don't know who's who, you don't know who you're getting. Some of these guys and women, they are habitual sexual addicts. They have tried to give it up. And the only reason why they're on the line is because they cannot give it up. It's hard for them to give it up because this is what they get their thrills off of. A lot of people like drugs and alcohol to cope with situations in their life. But some people cope with life by having sex with as many people as they can. And where can you find that out without being questioned on the chat line? And I think that's why a lot of the women that do go on there, that's why. See, you could go on the chat line and have as much sex as you like without being judged. And you can be a woman or a man. And there's just so many different forms of sexual communication. It can be through pictures. It can be through your voice. It can be through your feet, your legs. Once you know the communication of sex with who you're talking to, you can tell what they want, how they want it. They'll teach you. Chatline men have no problem with teaching you what they like. Or the women, we don't have no problem with teaching you what we like. And we don't have no problem leaving you if you don't do it. And those guys who don't know themselves, they're going to do it because they don't know themselves. I have guys right now that I don't deal with, and it's been years since I have spoken to any of them, but if I do call them, they'll come. And I don't have to lie and say that I'm in a crisis, because at that time they were trained to just show up, to come. And I must admit that this addiction to the chat line it's a hard addiction to break. I got so used to those guys being in my life, a part of my life. And I'm not even talking about the same guys. I'm talking about different guys just coming in and out of my life. And I take it back to abandonment from my childhood, because I always felt abandoned by everybody. I'm going a little deeper than I wanted to go here. So maybe we should just make a part 2 of this.